So, I'll tell you a little story about William. William grew up in England, and it was 1801 when William was born, and he decided to, as he was kind of growing up, he got married in England to his wife named Martha, and they decided to immigrate into the United States, New York, matter of fact. And William, as they immigrated into the United States, into New York, started a little candle making business very early on. And as he and Martha were kind of doing that, and they decided at some point in time to kind of pivot from New York and move to Cincinnati, Ohio. During the journey, Martha got sick. And about 2 years into living in Cincinnati, Ohio, she passed away. And about a year later, after William was grieving for his wife, he married Olivia Norris, who was the daughter of a famous candle maker, Alexander Norris. Okay. Right around the same time, James grew up in Ireland. And when he was 17, his family decided to immigrate from Ireland to the United States. They ended up landing in Cincinnati, Ohio. And James started to create a soap making business. Now, James ended up marrying somebody named Elizabeth Norris. And her father was that same person, Alexander Norris, the famous candle maker. Right? So here you have two brothers-in-law, William and James, in Cincinnati, Ohio, married to Olivia and Elizabeth Norris. And as they were starting their businesses, candle making and soap making in Cincinnati, Ohio, their father-in-law, who loved them but loved his daughters more, wanted to make sure that they were well taken care of, realized that William and James were often shopping for and negotiating against each other with the same manufacturers for raw materials for their products. And so their father-in-law went to them and said, you know, you really ought to partner together your companies. You'll get better pricing, right? As far as your companies are concerned, you should do this. And they kind of brushed him off, as most, I think, people do when the father-in-law comes in and says you ought to do this, right? But over time, it surely wasn't instant, but over time, William and James merged their companies together to form the Procter & Gamble Soaps and Candles Company. Now, how many of you have seen or used any of these brands on the screen? Raise your hand. Don't be shy. Okay? This is a transformational partnership. William Procter and James Gamble formed a transformational partnership that took their businesses to new heights. How did they do it? How do you get there? How do you form a transformational partnership for your business? Okay, there are a couple things that you need to first kind of be familiar with. Is first, figure out what your objectives are. Why do you want to partner with anybody? Lots of different people partner for lots of different reasons. It's not always just about revenue in terms of partnership. Right? So why do you want to partner? What are your objectives? And then with any luck, you're finding a company, a partner that has a common interest to you. Now, William and James had a similar business strategy. They weren't doing the same thing, but there was some overlap in terms of manufacturers they were procuring raw materials from. They, of course, had their wives who were sisters, right? So there's some common interests there, and they both immigrated in the United States, so there's some commonality, right? And that formed a really good partnership. They're the basis for a good partnership. Partnerships thrive when objectives align and cultures coincide, and those are important, right? But again, going back to objectives, you have to figure out what the objective is. Some companies partner because there's a missing feature in their product, right, or their service. They need to fill a gap, right? Others partner because of revenue. That tends to be one of those common reasons. Others partner because they need access to key talent. Maybe you're trying to enter into a critical key market and you just don't have the talent bench in your organization to get there. You need somebody that has the ability to do that, right? Maybe it's a merger and acquisition. Maybe you want to kind of test the waters a little bit before you acquire the company, right? Maybe you have an exit strategy and you're partnering with a company that could buy you, right? There are lots of different reasons why companies partner. So you need to be very clear on why you want to partner. If you're going to enter into a strategic partnership, it's going to be transformational. As you do that, one way to approach this, there are many ways to do it. One way to approach it, what we've done at Sendoso, what I've done over the course of the last decade, almost decade and a half in partnerships, is we take and we look at the sector, the category as a whole. And we say, okay, well, what are complementary products or services, organizations that would work well with us? Right? And we juxtaposition that against the sector, the category that's likely to partner. Just because they're complementary doesn't mean that the sector is likely to partner with you. Once you figure that out, then you start to take those sectors and you create your top 10 list. Okay, who are the large players in that space that really would be transformational for me to partner with? And do they have the same objectives? If it's revenue, okay, how far do they reach? And how much influence do they have over the actual clients that they serve? Right? So you start to juxtaposition these things a little bit, and you come up with your short list.
How do you measure likelihood to partner?
How do you measure likelihood to partner? It's really tough. Sometimes we'll have preliminary conversations with a handful of people in the industry to say, hey, is this a known problem, right? From a product side, is this something that there's a need for? So there's some discovery work that typically goes into that. Any other questions? I'll stop for a second. I appreciate that, by the way. If you have questions while I'm talking, ask me. That's much better than me just speaking to you. Thank you. So here's some of the things that you kind of need to be aware of, right? Do they have an ideal customer profile, right? Are you selling into the same market? Is the product or service complementary? Do the values and culture of the organization align? I can't tell you how many nightmare stories I've heard from colleagues that have entered into a partnership where the culture was radically off. And it just decimated the culture of the partner company. Do your objectives align? How about the stage of company? If you're doing a product partnership, do you want to enter a partnership with a company that's gotten a seed round of funding and is still trying to figure out product market fit? If you're a $2 billion organization serving 3 million customers, maybe not. Right? Maybe you want a little more tenure there, experience there. Right? Do they have a history of successful collaboration? What stage of the growth cycle are they in? And is there executive alignment? I would propose to you that transformational partnerships require sponsorship from the C-suite. Feel free to change my mind after. Okay? And the reason why, now, partnerships can survive and thrive without the C-suite. Don't get me wrong, there are channel organizations and VPs of partnership and whatever, right? They enter into basic partnership, but those don't really transform the industry. Okay, the ones that transform the industry are the ones where you have the whole organization behind, this is what we're doing, and here's why. Right? Because that partnership will translate into marketing, sales, customer support, experience, product finance, legal. It's going to proliferate across the entire organization, so you have to have everybody on board in order for it to be transformational. Okay, so one of the things that we do, once we create our hit list of people that we want to go after and partner with, we scour LinkedIn, we look at the different companies, who's in the C-suite there that we can have a conversation with. And then what we do is we Sendoso them, because we're Sendoso, of course, right? So we send them, we use account-based marketing, and we send them a highly tailored gift through our platform. And then we reach out to them once we get a received notice, so to speak, that they received that gift. So this is Chris Merrill. He's the CRO at J. Barrow's sales training. J. Barrow's is all the sales training for Salesforce and a couple of other organizations, Adobe and others. And Chris, we sent him a box of sprinkled cookies. He has a young 3-year-old daughter. And then we sent him a money tree. Does anybody know what a money tree looks like? Many of you, right? It has 2 roots, 3 roots that kind of grow together and intertwine. Right, we thought it was kind of fun. Hey, why don't we partner together? We'd love to grow something with you, right? Let's make some money. I really want to catch you with it. And I called up Chris. Well, it's not entirely true. I reached out to him on LinkedIn. Pinged him on LinkedIn. I said, hey, Chris, you don't know me. I'm from Sendoso. Want to know if you have 10, 15 minutes. Would love to explore if a partnership would make sense, if there's an opportunity. You tell me. Within 5 minutes, Chris instantly responded to me on LinkedIn and said, hey, I'm still trying to figure out what you do, but all I know is this. My wife loved that money tree. She said, I don't care what they do, you're partnering with them. Let me tell you right now, Chris is one of the best partners we have at Sendoso with Jambor's. He also has, his daughter opened up the cookies and created a little video. She sung a little song about sprinkles on the cookies. He posted to LinkedIn. When he did, we had over 2,000 views to that content, right? Of this partnership that we have now with Chris, who's a great partner. We have objectives that are aligned in terms of what we're trying to accomplish. Right? So again, you think about partnerships, sometimes, you know, and especially when it comes to revenue, people say, oh yeah, I want to enter into a partnership with you, so here's the deal, you sell my product, and we will partner, and I'll pay you a commission. Right? Has anybody ever heard of that before? That type of partnership? Right? It's not a partnership. Right? That is a contract sales position. That's all that is, okay? We don't do that. That's not a partnership. Partnerships involve reciprocity. It's in Sendoso we say we don't enter into vendorships, we enter into partnerships. There has to be some reciprocity. So there's reciprocity on the strategy side, what you see in orange, right? Making sure the organization's aligned at the executive level. Right? Making sure that the teams in each department are aligned, right, at the organizational level. And then there's all sorts of co-marketing and selling, blocking and tackling, if you will, activities that we can do on both sides to make sure that it's reciprocal. And that's a partnership. So these are some of the things that you need to think about doing for your partners if you're going to start working on a strategic transformational partnership. Specifically, it's on the revenue, if it's on the revenue side. So we at Sendoso typically, when we turn to partnerships, mostly for revenue, we deploy a crawl, walk, run approach, where we start off with marketing, we do some co-marketing, a little bit of joint collateral, gain a broader assessment to see if the market really resonates with our joint offering, right, or some of the things that we're doing together as far as activities. And then we walk and start doing co-selling activities. We map accounts, start looking at clients that we can refer to each other. We attend events together, right? We start being serious. And then we knock it out of the park with our big objectives. Sometimes that's a strategic integration. Sometimes that's an acquisition. Sometimes that's a larger revenue play at an event. It could be a number of different things. But this allows you to reassess the partnership over time to make sure that you're still continually aligned as you go down that partner journey. So my name is Brian Jambor. I'm with Sendoso. I'm the head of partnerships. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Of course.
Why is the left from orange, the other two red?
Just because this is where we start. That's all I was highlighting, is that's where we start. Good observation. Yes. So in partnerships in Sendoso, if you like any of this content, I saw a couple of people taking pictures. If you want, you can take a picture of the QR code that's there. That'll take you to a landing page, and then you can fill it out. We'll make sure we get you some socks if you haven't gotten some socks. But then I'll send you a copy of this presentation.